Okay. I find my agenda, I'll call you to order. Right after the earnest money received. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order for the Kiowa Water and Wastewater. Let it show that we have Teresa online and Annette, Tim in person, and myself in person. We're missing Eric tonight because he has work and snowstorm. A little chocolate buzz. Okay, hang on. So everybody should have a copy of the agenda. So I would take, we need to make a modification to the agenda to add the wastewater line maintenance policy. So that would be G.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes, or are there changes, additions, anything like that?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to, do you have a second?
Ma'am, I will second that.
All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Hey, in your packet, you had the financials. We did just today get the bill on, the Main Street, the Highway 86 repair. And I was excited that it was not over 20,000. I thought it was going to be quite expensive. 16 what?
I don't have it with me now. I'll put it in an envelope, but 16, almost 17,000, but just under 17.
Yeah, it was just under 17,000, which I think honestly for what they did and everything really probably saved our bacon. So that is not in your financials that you have in your packet, but the bill came today, so we did go ahead and sign a check for that this evening. Does anybody have any questions in regards to the financials? Okay, seeing none. All right, then we will move on. In your packet, you have Paul's report. Paul is available by phone if we need to talk.
He's on.
Oh, sorry, Paul's on. I lied, whatever, work with me. Sorry, I didn't read Paul's report, so I'm reading it right now. I'm busy. Yeah, I don't see. Paul, do you have anything that you need to let us know about that we're? He's driving in the dark. Is he muted?
Can you hear me?
There, now we gotcha.
All right, perfect. So the fiberglass 90 for the wastewater plant came in, and Roger with CNC excavating came down to look at it Monday and said that for them to install that, it's probably going to be a little over 2,000 for a man lift to safely have somebody over the basin. Or he was recommending that we look and see if they have a fiberglass coating that they could put around it to fix it and send back the new one. So I'm going to call and see what they say on the instructions on how to repair this thing or replace it.
So maybe we would just send the elbow back then?
If we don't use it, we are, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really expensive elbow if we could just put a coating on it.
Right. And then
Is that-
go ahead.
Is it something like the rhino coating or something?
Yeah, it would be some kind of a fiberglass coating that they would have to wrap around it. And then they said that whether they do the replacement or they do that coating, it needs to have 60-degree weather for it to dry in less than 36 hours.
Okay,
So we'd have to postpone this till the spring either way.
okay. Did you get your display panel back yet?
No, they're working on that. They said that they're gonna need to order another one and it'll be all under warranty. But they didn't give a time frame yet on when it would be back. But the sewer plant is working fine without it. I just can't see anything on that screen to write down numbers or.
Okay,
Then the calibration for all the meters, that gentleman was out on Monday as well. And he was able to get all of the meters calibrated and working correctly. So we're not gonna have to buy anything. We're just gonna monitor them and make sure they actually, all the numbers add up right. But I think we're good on those.
good. Paul, now that we're like the drawings episode that we ran into when we had this main break up by the fire station. So are you going back to the drawings and changing it after you see what's actually there?
Yes, we're gonna make some changes and then I'll take them over to that survey company and see if they can
Okay.
make the changes on their end.
Okay. Did we get the fire hydrant thing straightened out with the fire department for the numbers and everything for their maps?
Yes, they have
Okay.
a map of their own with all the numbers on it that's hanging in their fire station.
Okay, perfect. So that's all resolved. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have any suggestions or just so we don't have to keep you on the phone or on Zoom? Did you have anything that you need to add to this wastewater line maintenance thing? Kim said she reached out to you.
Yeah, we talked about the all the different options there. I'm gonna have to refresh my memory on what we talked about there.
No, Paul, I just sent you an email today.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
I had a discussion with our insurance company yesterday. One of the areas that they are auditing us on for this loss audit is wastewater line maintenance and reporting. My email to you was I showed them your monthly report, okay? And because I thought that would suffice for what they're looking for, and he says it doesn't.
We have a flush schedule though.
Okay, so I feel like he said it should be something he's already doing. You just don't have the documentation of what he's doing. So
Yeah,
I'm wondering
so-
if it's something that could be added to your monthly report or something.
Well, so we're scheduled, or we need to get scheduled for the north end of town this year. And I just have to get them the maps, but I don't think they're gonna be able to do it until the snow stops, but
And
yeah,
that's okay.
go ahead.
What he suggested to me was, because I told him, I said, we have like one guy for the entire town. He says, what you could do is like split that up in thirds and do like a third of it a year.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we could show that he does a third of it a year or whatever, they're looking for a 36-month time span.
So could you make a report that shows the last maybe 3 times that we've flushed lines, which areas have been done?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, just so that then that would give her something to attach with this
Yes.
process and
Yeah.
answer their questions. Cause I knew you were doing, every year a different section.
Right.
Yeah, this is new, I guess, for them. This is the first time they've asked me for something from you guys. So, and
Okay.
it has, don't want anything for water.
Perfect.
Thank you, Paul.
Teresa or Annette, do you guys have any questions for Paul?
I do not.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
You'll see on his report, we had a washer leaking at 447 Shasta. I think I've got it figured out how to get somebody to help cover her overage on her water bill. So just make sure you get with me before you send bills out. Okay. So I've been trying to find her some help. So Tasha, I think you're up.
Hey, my report is in here. Our water loss or our efficiency actually is considerably better from December to January somehow.
Whatever it
But I
takes.
didn't anticipate that with the main break.
Right.
I mean, I thought we would have gone the other direction, but we've had calibration done and I don't know. So for December, we had a water loss of 29.6%, and for January, we're at 6.18%. So
Something doesn't make sense.
fantastic, right?
That is
With the main
bizarre.
break, it doesn't. So I don't know, although when did that, what was the date of that? So it should have fallen under. All
We
of
did
the
have,
reporting and everything else.
so we did have some problems with the meter where did not read for a few days. So now that we've got it all calibrated and corrected, we should be fine.
Looks like it never happened. The one.
It's like we
The
never
break,
pumped that
yeah,
water.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
so let's just kind of make a note to monitor it over the
Yeah.
next couple months. Now
Yeah.
that we know we have calibrated meters.
yeah, hopefully it does stay better.
Yeah, it should line up now.
Okay.
I think that's really all I have is all the numbers are on here, so.
We did get an email from what you call it, a customer.
Residents.
Okay, a resident. And I came to me, I shared it with Kim and Tasha. After I had called her, I've left messages. I have emailed, I've been to the house. I cannot get anyone to return my calls or my emails, so I can't help her. She says that her bill has doubled. She doesn't know why. She says she's had a plumber there and checked the toilets and that it is not the toilets leaking. She is not in the same situation that Shasta is because she's on Dakota, and Dakota, they're in the basement or in the crawl space. They're not in a meter pit. So I don't know what else to do to try to help her. So I've gotten no response. So you
And
guys,
Honestly, it like quadrupled,
I was gonna say, I think it even said,
but it was bad to usage wise to the point that I reached out to let them know, like, hey, you have something going on here, and that did not go well for me. So it is what it is. But I've not heard anything else.
yeah, and I've been by the house twice. Paul and I went once. Because we wanted to check the meter, we wanted to turn the water off to the house and tell her, look and see, so.
Well, and you
Um,
invited her to a board meeting. to
Yes.
Discuss the overage on her bill for the board to make a decision if you guys want to help
Yeah,
her with it or forgive it, a
And
portion of it or whatever.
had I been given the opportunity, she'd have been informed that typically we kind of try to work with
Right,
them when
a
this
payment or-
happens,
yeah.
because it is a bummer.
well, and I asked, I said, when was the plumber there? Can I reach out to the plumber? Let me know, and no responses, so, so we'll see. But FYI, I've tried to remedy that, and I did my crawl space crawl for Sharon Hound Shell. So you guys, I just want you to know, you get this is part of our duty. But we did get Sharon taken care of, and I've got somebody who's gonna kick in on her bill, so we're good. We're gonna make it work, so. Okay, so, so grant updates, Kim.
I left that on there. I didn't ask you if you actually.
Well, I talked to Debbie about it
Okay.
earlier this week, but Debbie and I had a conversation about the SRF loan application and the DOLA match to it. DOLA opens March 1st, closes April 1st. We will be resubmitting that. I will be having a conversation with DOLA prior to that submittal to make sure that what we're submitting is favorable, and they will give me feedback as to areas that we need to revise if we need to revise it. I already know we need to revise the amount, the cost amount of the project. Because
Would it help if we ask the fire district to do a letter stating that, you know, give them more dependable water?
I think it'd be great to do that.
I mean, it really,
And DOLA, you know, they ask any kind of support we can get from somebody.
yeah, I'm thinking
It's
that,
taken into
and maybe
consideration.
approach the county and ask them for some kind of, I mean, they have to have water too.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if we could get a letter from the fire district and from the county, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach
So-
out to them.
Perfect.
Then Debbie and I, during our conversation last week, I'm actively looking for grants from Homeland Security to put a fence up around the water tower that should have been up years ago, that never was done. And we are still in that energy audit process with Colorado Rural Water Association. I sent over last year's energy billing to them, which is still being reviewed, and I'm just waiting for feedback from them as to the next step in that process.
Cool beans. Any questions, you guys, Teresa, Annette?
No, not for me.
All right, John, do you have any public comment? You're my only public in the audience.
It's gonna snow.
So they say. Old business, we have none. And so new business, we are going to, is there something I have to read to go into executive session?
Exactly what it says.
I have, yeah, the statement on
Okay.
your agenda.
So do I need a motion to close the regular meeting to?
Yeah, and move into.
Move into executive session.
Okay, sorry, guys, I'm learning how to do this.
We don't do them very often.
I know. So I would entertain a motion to close the regular meeting to go into executive session of the Board of Directors for the purpose of receiving legal advice pursuant to section 24-6402-4B Colorado Revised Statutes as it relates to the relationship between the Kiowa Water and Wastewater and the town of Kiowa.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay,
Paul. Dismiss.
yeah, Paul, I'm done with you, but thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you. So who all do I have online?
You have Teresa, Annette, Aaron, and George.
Okay,
Appropriate.
okay. So George, the floor is yours, or do you want me to preface why we're here?
No, that's all right. I can, well, you can fill in any blanks, I guess.
Okay.
If you
All right,
want, but
George, sorry to interrupt. Do we need to turn off the recording?
We can pause it.
yeah, so
I'll turn the recording back.
So can I have a motion to come out of executive session and open up the meeting at 6:44?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So do you want to continue with your questions on the conflict disclosure form?
Okay, so my question is the first paragraph where it states, I have a conflict or a potential conflict. Why does this document not give you the choice of saying, I don't have a conflict or I do? It just
I think
automatically
it's-
states.
Is it not just because each question is then later a yes or no?
Yeah, I saw that, but that first paragraph just kind of threw me.
Okay,
Me too, but here's a, maybe a different way of looking at it. Are we assuming, what is the definition of a conflict of interest in this case? Are we assuming that because we either live within the boundary or own property within the boundary or do business within the property, within the boundary, that it is automatically potentially a conflict of interest? Is that what we're assuming?
Just by virtue of the fact that you live within the boundaries of the authority does not necessarily create a conflict of interest. The purpose of this form is to be filed with an agenda for a specific meeting. So if there were things on that agenda that you had a personal interest in, that is what we are looking for here, and things that you would want to disclose. And disclosing potential conflicts of interest provides public officers with affirmative defenses to potential lawsuits or other things that might come later, where someone felt like you had acted in your best interest and not in the best interest of the authority. So that's just kind of some background of where this starts. We would file, and whether or not you have a conflict of interest is really an individual determination. We can kind of help guide you a little bit, but it's, we don't know everybody's background, what businesses they own, all those kinds of things. And so we have to rely on the board members to tell us when they have a conflict of interest. Not to pick on Mr. Kraft, but the fact that he's on the board is what made me think that perhaps I should bring this in front of the whole board and give everybody an opportunity to fill this out if they felt like there were conflicts of interest. So the answer to the first question is, if you don't feel like you have a conflict of interest, you don't need to fill this out, and we won't need to file it for you. So the assumption is that if we're filing this, there is something that you feel like needs to be disclosed. And
George.
that's kind of why there's this assumption in the document that there is a conflict of interest, because we are filing this form with the Secretary of State.
All makes sense. Alternatively, could a conflicted party just recuse themselves?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
because
if you
it
don't
seems-
vote on something, I would also, if you don't file conflicts of interest, well, and even if you do, actually, recusing yourself from both the decision as well as the discussion, it would be advisable.
Well, and the only issue that I see with that is that if you go down question number 1, all of us have that. We are all either a resident or own property, or, those are requirements, well, not requirements, but those are strongly suggested to be
Yeah.
on the board to participate. So really, it's not just Mr. Kraft, because I own commercial property and I operate a business. And yeah, it would be hard if you put on there that the town has decided that every other Tuesday, we're just gonna shut off water. And that's on the agenda for a vote, I would be hard pressed, as would anyone else on the board, to recuse, because the whole board would recuse.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
it's very
so
hard
there's
to.
also an exception there's also an exception in the statutes to allow people to vote on these types of things where you would, I'm sorry, I've had a cold for a while. If your vote is needed in order to have a quorum and in order to take action, that is an exception that would allow you to vote. But it's also a reason why you might want to file these conflicts of interest.
Okay,
So for example, I listed the fire department because I serve on their board. So if it was something that directly related to the fire district, it would be, could be a conflict. So,
Correct.
yeah.
So if I just list that I own property here, it's a conflict of interest also. I need to sign this and send it back.
Yeah, just list your property that you own so that if it was something that specifically applied to Ute Street, you might have, I mean, it depends on what it was, what kind of improvements it was, as to whether or not you would have to recuse yourself.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we took it,
That was C, we had B, the ordinance.
but okay.
That's kind of part of the cleanup.
Yeah, so we're gonna table B to be, if I could have a motion to table B to move it to leaving that with the attorneys to deal with the ordinance. And so C, B and D would both go to old business next month. So we would table those.
so moved.
Okay, motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Teresa seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
The rate study and asset management, we are getting we're working on trying to find grants and quotes to see if we could get that done for free, but I'm still digging into that. So I unfortunately don't have much of a report for you.
So can the authority just piggyback on a recently completed one by another district? Does it need? to
Wouldn't
do
we
its own
have to show
independence?
our own costs?
I don't know. What's the rate study? $6,500?
I don't know, they didn't give me a quote.
Let me see if I can get my hands on one. Maybe we ask for a revised quote that only. Maybe instead of doing a rate study in asset management, it's only an asset management study
Okay,
for less money.
Okay. So do you guys want to just move rate study and asset management to old business? We have a motion to do so and we'll revisit it after Tim gets the other one.
I make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Committee update. Annette, do you want to hit the high spots? I mean, Tim and I guess Teresa would be the only one that wasn't there, but she probably got it from Andrew.
I was on that call.
Oh, okay. Well, then is there anything we need to share as a committee update?
I don't know, it'd be nice maybe if you want to throw some notes together. I mean, I
Okay.
took notes too.
I would like to, yeah, we'll just have to approach to get what we needed.
Yeah, I just made a
Cool.
copy of the whole stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I believe. There's a discussion after this on the town board meeting. To go through a proposed budget showing financial impacts. a lot of that comes from inputs from the town side. I think it would be helpful if the Water Authority Committee could at least weigh in on that also, to the extent additional cost.
So how about after the town meets and has a date, I'll send out an email to everybody on the board as to what we need from the committee.
Yeah.
Okay. G, wastewater line maintenance. You would have gotten an email today from Kim. We kind of hit this a little bit when Paul was here. It's for waste line. It pertains to the jetting of the sewer lines. We try to do north side, south side. We break it into 3. Every year we pick one section and do it. So, does anybody have any questions about the agreement that Kim sent you? Are you okay with it? Do you have changes?
I'm okay with it.
I should
I
just say,
sent comments, but there was
You
nothing
did?
earth shattering. Yeah, I did.
okay. Did you have any changes for what Annette sent you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No. Oh, I didn't get a net.
Towards-
I did not get a net email. She sent me an email regarding that policy.
Yeah,
Get that.
Just, Kim, just before the meeting, so I'm sure you did not see it, like 2 minutes before. I finished up my
Okay.
stuff. Just some stuff in there, just points of clarification. We can go through it, or Kim and I can go through it, and if we're fine then, but there was nothing egregious stop on it.
Okay, so could we go ahead and have a motion to approve the wastewater maintenance?
Water line maintenance, yeah.
Yeah,
So moved.
okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the water waste line
I'll write
maintenance?
it down.
Yeah,
There you go.
that thing.
Awesome.
I,
Signify.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so that motion carries. I'll send you your correspondence. Don't worry about it. So can I take a motion to adjourn so they can have town board?
So moved.
All those in favor?
I.
No one.
Second.
Teresa.
Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Aaron.